Hi, everyone. Welcome to MediatorPodcast.com, a mediation podcast and video series where we discuss mediation, negotiation, and collaboration. Today, we will discuss lessening anxiety around divorce with Miss Olivia Summerhill. Olivia is the founder of a financial consulting company helping affluent women maintain their lifestyles and thrive post-divorce by educating and empowering them financially. Having over a decade of experience in wealth management and private banking, Olivia dedicates her time to protecting women. Her niche serves famous and high-profile women who need help navigating the financial complexities of divorce. She also consults with financial advisors and family offices to help their clients avoid divorce mistakes. Welcome, Olivia. How are you doing today? What are common misconceptions about divorce that can contribute to this anxiety that we're talking about?
Okay, so I'm in behavioral finance and neuroeconomics and psychology of financial planning. So everything I like to do with clients is all about the misconceptions and the emotions around divorce and money. And future thinking is anxiety ridden when we're in the very beginning of divorce, or we haven't even divorced or had that conversation of divorce yet. We have some misconceptions that creates anxiety and guilt and shame and nervousness and all of those feelings of fear. I think the biggest common misconception that I like to work with clients on is them thinking that they're going to be miserable during the process and after the process of divorce, which is not true. If you can actually, and we'll talk about it today, I'm sure, is what to do to not have a miserable experience. But that anxiety is something we also don't acknowledge. And so most of the time, if you are in the middle of something and you're going through mediation, just sitting with that anxiety, it's telling you something. So it might be telling you that there's a misconception of a fear that's not actually a valid fear, or it might be showing you there's something coming up that you need to be aware of. So actually honoring your anxiety and honoring the fact that you might have some fears that might be valid or not, and talking through those is really helpful, because everyone has their own trauma and their own background and their own misconceptions. And as long as you can get through to at least acknowledging and understanding where they are and how they sit in your body, and a lot of that also comes with money. So that's what I see as the common misconception, is that you're going to have nothing after divorce and you're going to be just in the streets, or you're going to be camping and you're not even going to be able to stay in a hotel at a fancy restaurant or hotel. You're not going to have a lifestyle that you used to have. All of this stuff is preconceived. Work through it, talk with someone about it, because a lot of the fears around money or just around the divorce in general might be something that it's telling you something in your body, and you can work through that. And it's maybe not as valid, and maybe you do have more control over the future of your divorce and the future of your anxiety than you think you do.
Now, this is kind of a sidebar comment, but where do you think these misconceptions come from? Is it from their family, from friends that have gone through divorce, things that they see in the media? From your experience, what's the most common?
So from my experience, it's friends and family. And that is something that we can go into detail about. Is a lot of times you're going to your support systems, which are your friends and family, and you're asking them for advice, and you're telling them what's going on in your own relationship, and they put the fuel to the fire, and they're not trying to, but they're giving their own experience, which might have been quite miserable, or they have their own attachment styles that they're bringing into your relationship, and they're telling you what to do because they want you to do it different than they did. So it's really good intentions, but I see a lot of friends and family actually messing with the process and not adding anything of value, and making mistakes because they're taking advice from friends who say, let's just say, for example, that friend had a miserable experience, and they saw that their soon-to-be ex was cheating on them, and so they think that you should do what they didn't do, which is you should get the bulldog attorney and go after the soon-to-be ex, because that person also has a girlfriend or boyfriend on the side. and don't do what they do, which is they just threw in the towel and let it happen. Well, maybe getting that bulldog attorney is not the best advice for you. And we're talking about mediation, and maybe mediation is the best thing for that person. So having conversations with professionals or with third parties that are non-emotional, or people that are friends that can just listen and not give their advice. Because again, going back to the misconceptions and the fear and the emotions that are in us when we're going through a hard situation, is we just need to acknowledge our emotions, let the anxiety sit there and be there. It's telling us something. And going forward, we can meet it with a different lens if we're not taking action from someone else's advice that might not be warranted for our situation.